if you are in the live right now, I need you to send me them bear dons in the chat. I need you to send me them bear dons in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all already know how we do. Y'all already know how we do. I cannot believe we are sitting here 2 weeks in, and we got us a Chicago Bears back-to-back victory. We got back-to-back victory Mondays. First off, let's talk about that. It is your boy, Pat the Designer. I am joined by the homie P.Kidd. As always, Kid, how are you feeling today?
Man, I'm feeling great. We got a W, baby.
Man,
I was kind of nervous at the end. Nervous at the end.
Hey, listen, we all were.
Yeah,
let's be honest about it. We all were.
I was like, we about to fumble this bag. I know we about to fumble this bag. But
shout out to the Hunter there's fumble bag of the week.
Hey, man, listen. Shout out to them. Yo, AD. Man, listen, that INT that Mitch threw, I was like, yeah, okay. Just wasn't feeling our defense today. Wasn't feeling our defense. I don't think our defense was feeling our defense. So with that being said, listen, I'm just happy we etched out that win. That Hail Mary kind of had me breathless, but we did
man. It. We did shout out to Eddie Jackson on that one too. Great tip there, because my man Justin Jefferson was just sitting there like, hey, we're gonna do what we're gonna do. I guess I'm catching this ball.
Hey, there's a nice face mask on him too. You see him muff somebody and grab his helmet.
For sure. Hey, sometimes you got to beat the fool out of him, my boy.
Hey, listen.
Sometimes you got to beat the fool out of him.
Y'all, we getting spicy in the chat early. Everybody like
early in the chat. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, somebody tell me why we firing Nagy now.
Hey, listen. I know the comments are coming. I know that we got the fire Nagy's in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Don't mind me right now. I'm just updating everything. But I mean, let's start it off with what we saw. Let's start off with the good. What did you think about this Chicago Bears offense in today's game?
Oh, man, he looked poised.
Trubisky in general.
Biscuits looked poised. The run game was Maserati Mitch. Hey, listen, run game was doing it, man. Listen, I don't know how all of a sudden Montgomery is like a, Pro Bowl looking running back, but he definitely was doing his thing today. And so it goes to show you that, maybe I see why they're saying fire Nagy. Now that we got the play call and play call actually knows what he's talking about, it's at keeping the defense off balance. Our boys can go out there and put up a good show. So I mean, hey.
But I think we'll get into that. We'll get into that for sure. I can't say one way or the other right now. I mean, listen. Do these games change the way that we're going to feel about Matt Nagy in the end? I don't know, because you still got to look at it as the Chicago Bears are beating bad football teams. And in this game, barely beating a bad football team. But you beat a team that, listen, Delvin Cook has been putting in work. Oh. So you can't deny, and he put in work yet again this week. So you can't deny what we've seen from this Chicago Bears team. But you have to like the way that this team has played, even in a couple of losing efforts down the stretch. You have to like the way that this team, like we've said all season, just refuses to give up. And I think that the biggest thing that I saw today, and now we're gonna start getting y'all comments on the screen as well, y'all. We appreciate y'all coming through to the chat. If you are into the live, please like the video. Please subscribe to the page, because we do talk Chicago sports weekly. We don't want you to miss a thing, so make sure that you hit that bell. I think that the biggest thing with what we saw today is that we saw a Bears team that was resilient. We saw a Bears team that, an offense that put the team on its back.
Facts.
When have we seen that?
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? When have we seen that? We saw an offense that put the team on its back. And so you have to love what you saw from the offense. Now, the defense has to get some things together, but I'll tell you what I saw from this team that impressed me. There's not one play from Mitchell Trubisky that I can say I hated. The interception. But there's not. Yeah, the interception was a bad throw, but there's not one play that I can say that I looked at Mitch and I was like,
what is you doing?
He's out of here. He's making up. He has no idea what's going on. Baki in the live, we see you, my boy. He has no idea what's going on in this game. He's not reading this coverage well. He's not reading what the Minnesota Vikings are trying to do well. You know what I'm saying? And so because of that, I have to say that I'm not even going to stunt with you. I'm not a Mitch guy. But if Mitch can do this, I would love to see him stick around. I'm not saying he's your quarterback of the future. Because listen, at the end of the day, 202 yards, a touchdown, and an interception is not an amazing stat line. But Mitch Trubisky not only did not take you out of the game, he made plays to help you stay in the game. And the commitment to the run is the biggest thing that I think that we saw today, and the most important thing that we saw today. Career day for David Montgomery. What'd you like out of Monty today, my boy?
Well, what was it not to like? I mean, my man put up gave us a nice way to counteract Delvin Cook. I kind of felt like, this was a game of the backs for most importantly. They definitely put on a show, and it makes you wonder, was this what we had the entire time?
Right.
It makes me wonder that. It makes me wonder if this was what he was capable of all season. Excuse me. And man, I really don't know. I keep thinking about that. I keep thinking about our start, where we went wrong, what we went away from. But
I think the biggest thing we saw was that the offensive line was hurt. And the guys in there did not have the talent to do it. And they had Nick Foles back there who just can't make plays where the defense has to worry about you mobily.
True.
You know what I'm saying? And so that is the one thing that Mitch brings to this team. If you're in the live right now, like the video, subscribe to the page. We talk Chicago Sports Weekly. That is the one thing that Mitch brings to this team. The fact that he's mobile, the fact that he's able to move his feet, the fact that he's able to get out of the pocket. And today, I think we saw that more than not. Today, I think that we've seen that maybe me yelling at Matt Nagy in the last live really did something for him on the last episode. You know what I'm saying? Because realistically, they did everything they could do to try and give this game away at the end. And Mitch was the one that did not allow it. Mitch was the one that was like, nah, I'm keeping my feet going. I'm the one that's going to get us to that next spot. I'm the one that's going to get us this first down. I'm the one that's going to find A-Rob cutting across the field. And the thing that I liked was he didn't make a commitment one way or the other. He didn't commit to being in the pocket. He didn't commit to rolling out. He didn't commit to using his legs. He committed to making the play that was going to get the job done. And there's not a lot I can say about Mitch that I didn't like today except for that interception. That was a bad throw.
Yeah, I got to give him props. I think he felt that he looked real poised.
Yeah.
I mean, he actually looked like a professional quarterback. This is not the Mitch that we've been talking about this entire time.
Right.
And so, I mean, even in the post game that they were talking about, they sat him down. He took his licks, but he came back, and he seems like he's come back with the right mentality.
Right.
But more importantly, though, a lot of things are now working in his favor, are being designed for him. And so we got to give a lot of kudos to the O-line today, because the O-line kind of definitely stepped up. That's allowing Mitch to look good. That's allowing Monty to do what he's doing. I want to see what happens when we get Patterson back. See what happens with that.
Yeah.
If they can keep this up, then yeah, I actually see that we can go pretty far. And this now goes back to everything we've been discussing. Our whole coaching situation, our whole, play calling situation, all of that, just every win for us with this style of play just brings that into more of a limelight. Like, okay, what was this, and why did we have a 6-game skid because of it?
Right. And I know we're hearing a lot of fire Nagys in the chat. I know we're seeing a lot of fire Nagys in the chat. I want everybody to understand something. Just because you can do one aspect of the game doesn't mean that you can do another. And I want us to think about what I'm saying here. Let's think about Jim Boylan with the Chicago Bulls. He's coached 25 to 30 years in the NBA. Mm-hmm. He got to be able to do something right. There has to be something that he can do that people look at him and say, oh, yeah, we would love to have you on our coaching staff. We love what you bring to the players. We love what you bring to these guys. There's something about him. It doesn't mean that he can be a head coach. So for everyone that's saying fire Nagy, get rid of Nagy, get him out of here. And listen, I'm leaning more on your side just for other things that Nagy has done. But with these last few games we've seen where Bill Lazor's calling the plays, don't think Bill Lazor's the head coach you want. Because just because Bill Lazor's good at calling plays and it seems like he's kind of figured out Trubisky, he's able to call these plays for him, Don't think that he's the head coach that you want.
Who said that we wanted him as a head coach?
Huh?
Who said we wanted him as a head coach?
Well, you know that's what I'm seeing coming in now on Twitter and things like that. People are saying let Bill Lazor be the head coach. Let Bill Lazor do it because he's the one that figured it out. No. Just because you can call plays, let's be honest. Adam Gase called plays pretty well, didn't he? Offensively, when he was on Denver, pretty good play caller. When he was on the Bears with Jay Cutler, pretty good play caller. As a head coach, garbage. Matt Nagy seemed like he was an okay play caller before he got to the Bears. Came to the Bears, starts calling plays in the beginning. Pretty good play caller. We like, okay, we got a nice little play caller here. Keeps it going. Oh, wait, he can't call plays either. You know what I'm saying? So just because somebody has one aspect to their game that is good does not mean that they can do the job that needs to encompass everything. And I'll say the same thing about one Matt Nagy. Maybe Matt Nagy is figuring out how to be a head coach. Maybe he is figuring out, all right, maybe I need to take a step back here. Maybe I need to focus on the entire team as a whole. Maybe I need to look at the entire team and say, okay, we need to improve here. We need to improve here. Let's work on this. Bill, you take the offense. Chuck, you take the defense. I'm going to meet with both of y'all so that we can get this fire going. Because that's the way that Mike Tomlin does it. I'm not comparing the two. Mike Tomlin's going to be a Hall of Famer by the end of the day.
Let me ask you something. Actually, I'm going to make a statement.
Go ahead.
That for Matt Nagy, like I hear the comparative that you say, you know, they're learning on the fly.
Yeah.
Matt Nagy learning on the fly isn't the same as like Mitchell Trubisky learning on the fly, right? Just because of the position that he holds, the power that he has. A good head coach should know what he's good at and how to delegate.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't do that well. And because of that, that's an indictment on him, right?
Yes.
Because now, once you actually have the right people calling the right plays with your players in mind, listening to the players, you see that you have good play. So guess what? That secures the player spot, in my opinion.
Right.
Because he's saying, hey, you put me on the field with things that I can actually do, then we can get good results. And that's been the case the last couple games.
Right.
Nagy's had three seasons where it's like, okay, listen, we slip it. He had one good season, and really realistically it was just different. But outside of that, he's declined ever since. No, I don't care about the robber and all that stuff. Listen, he's learned. Sure, if you want to say it, he's learning, whatever like that. But guess what? He could go ahead to another team and put that into practice. At this point, that ship has sailed here. I don't see how you can correct course right now with him at the helm because it's too much in question.
It depends on how far you go. Listen, if all of a sudden Matt Nagy and Mitch Trubisky and Bill Lazor and Chuck Pagano take these boys on a deep playoff run, if they get in, this all is predicated on, listen, we beat one of the teams that we got to beat. You got to win the rest of your games, and you have to hope that the Arizona Cardinals lose one. But it depends on how deep you go. Now, listen, is all the rah-rah stuff going to be just rah-rah stuff at the end of the day if the Cardinals win out and the Bears don't get into the playoff? Yeah, probably. You might look at Mitch and say, you know what, maybe if we get Mitch around a different coach, we'll be able to find a better fit at head coach for him. And you might see Ryan Pace be gone at that point. You might see Matt Nagy be gone at that point, Chuck Pagano, Bill Lazor. You might see all those guys get out of there at that point. But if they go on a run, and I understand that's still a big if they go on a run, you're not going to see change. And so that's why I asked the question for the people that wanted to see change. Do you want to see this Bears team lose out? Because if this Bears team makes the playoff, you're not going to see that change. And you might see it if they get in the playoffs and get like a first round L. But I mean, if they make a run, and NFL teams can absolutely catch a heater, you're probably still looking at Matt Nagy, who I believe has 2 more years under his contract coming into the next season. Bill Lazor coming back, Chuck Pagano coming back, Ryan Pace coming back, Ted Phillips might be retiring. That might be the one that's different. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But you're probably going to not see that change.
I get that. I tell you what, the only thing I can really give Nagy credit for at this particular point is he seems to be handling the delegation really well. Mm-hmm. Right? And he actually seems to be owning to the part where he kind of messed up. You can kind of hear it in the way he structures his interviews and stuff.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Whenever he interviewed, he's like, hey, sometimes you just got to figure it out. And, we've gotten Mitch a lot more involved. Before it was very, we're going to keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah. And so because of that, I can say, you know what, maybe he's humbled himself to the point where it's like, okay, you know what? This is the course. It's working. Let me play to this strength. And if he can do that and they get into the playoffs and they get a win, guess what? I can get with Nagy staying. I can get with us keeping him and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I can get that if he keeps this. But if we get Nagy that decides to go ahead, pull out the Denny's menu, says, Bill, I got this. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Mitch, we're gonna keep you in the pocket. We go back to that. No, get him out of there, dog.
Yeah. And look, like I said, I'm more on y'all side now. I'm more on the people that the fire Nagy side now because of what we heard last week about how he was coaching Mitch through this process. If you're on the live right now, like the video, subscribe to the page. How he was coaching Mitch through this process. How he was not including Mitch into the game plan. How he was not including his input into the game plan. That's why a lot of people was like, man, I've never seen Pat get that spicy about something. That's just stupidity.
Yeah.
That's just stupidity. That's literally just you saying, I'm so focused on what I want to do, I don't care what you think.
Yeah.
And that's your starting point. That's stupidity. But people can learn from stupid. You don't have to be stupid forever. You can be. Listen, I'm stupid on a lot of things, but when I learn them, I'm not gonna say I'm stupid on them anymore. So I'm really just kind of playing that devil's advocate role of, okay, maybe he has figured it out. We've seen 3 games of offensive output that has been wild. We've seen 3 30-point games, bro. We ain't seen 3 30-point games in the same season, I don't think.
Back to back to back?
No, not back to back to back. In the same season. Where the offense was the reason that we had 30. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that's, you know what I'm saying? I mean,
fact check that, but yeah, I'm gonna pull it up.
Yeah, fact check that for me. But I don't believe we've seen a season where we've had 3 30-point games. I know for a fact we went 2.5 or 2 years solid where we didn't have a pass over 30 yards.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I look at this team as, okay, I'm seeing things, not so much that we're seeing it because we saw flashes. Listen, we saw the Tampa game. We saw the Dallas game with Mitch. We've seen Mitch versus Detroit dominate. We've seen the games. We've never seen it put together, though. And I think that we've seen legitimately, I think the Packers game, Mitch played poorly, but if your defense does anything, he might be able to get you back in that game. But the 3 games after that, Detroit, who was it last week? It was wow, that went out of my mind quick. This week versus Minnesota, and then it was Detroit again last week. No. Who we played last week? I'm tweaking right now. Houston. It was Detroit, Houston, and Minnesota this week. We're seeing a different game from the offensive side of the football that's working.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think you have to give the Bears credit for that because back to back, we haven't seen that. We haven't seen the games where the Chicago Bears are able to the defense doesn't play at its best, and all of a sudden the Bears are able to win the game offensively.
Yeah. I think the unfortunate part is we've gone through this back and forth with Nagy and this whole thing so much that it's not even a matter of if we should bring him back or fire him. So whether or not the players want to play. Some of these players might be gone. Mitch has said Mitch has not committed to saying one way or the other, right? We actually may lose a good receiver, right? Yeah. And so now it begs the question. It's like, man, what happens if we lose our QB?
Yeah.
Right?
No, that's fact.
Does Nick Foles, are we banking on Nick Foles really?
Well, he's the one that's still under contract for you, so probably.
Yeah. Yeah. But compared to what we saw with Mitch, do we really want that? Do we see what's possible? Like at this point, I see Mitch has more upside. So do we really want?
I think the thing that you see with Trubisky is that he helps the offensive line that's struggling. I'm gonna be real with y'all. The offensive line is playing better. Absolutely, you've got your starters in there. I think that Mustafa is definitely proving he had to learn on the fly. I know I called him trash before. Hey, listen, prove me wrong every week, my boy. Prove me wrong every single week. And you'll never hear me say that again. I have no problem eating my words. Hey, listen. That's what Mugs don't get. Mugs be in the comments and they be like, "Oh, you said this. You got to eat your words." I'm a fan of this team. I love eating my words. I love being wrong about Mitchell Trubisky.
Mm-hmm.
Like I
Because that
really
means that
do.
we got winning.
It means
Winning
that we're
football.
winning. I'm not glued to these points to the point that I'm like, oh, I would rather lose and see Mitch be terrible. That's stupid.
It is stupid.
That's Matt Nagy point of view right there. You know what I'm saying? So I think that with this team, we're seeing improvements because Mitch complements the struggles that the team has. It does not mean that Mitchell Trubisky is great. It does not mean that Mitchell Trubisky is your quarterback for the next 15 to 20 years. I think more than likely the Mitchell Trubisky we saw today is the one that we'll get more times than not.
Yeah.
200-something yards, touchdown, maybe 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns, 1 INT. You think that's average?
1 INT. 1 INT. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe that we're going to get 350 to 400 yard Mitch week in and week out. But
hey, when we got a run game going, we ain't got to.
And that's what it is. This Mitch is complementary to what your team can do well.
It's like the moment you said that, it was a bar. And I think the first thing that came to mind is he complements what our team does well. And then I just think about the last weeks before we start going on this win streak. I was like, 6 whole games, we didn't do what our team does well. And now I double back and I say, okay, we didn't do what our team does well. Whose fault is that?
Yeah. Hey, listen, it's Nagy.
Yeah,
it really is. It really is.
I just want to hear you say it.
I told you. I'm more on the fire Nagy side because of how he approached it. But I'm also willing to allow people to grow. Now listen, 3 years into that role, you should know.
I'm not trying to go through a whole allow my head coach to grow type thing, dog. That's not the role or the position I feel that we should be putting.
But that's modern sports, bro.
On a learning curve.
That's modern sports, though. That's modern sports.
A 3-year learning curve.
But back in the day, bro, you would let them grow.
Back in the day, a 3-year learning curve.
That's why I said, hey, listen, we're willing to give it to Mitch. Are we not? Are we not?
Different. A player development, that's different.
You telling me head coaches don't need to develop?
You mean to tell me that a head coach that demolishes your team?
I'm just saying,
deserves a chance to do it again.
I'm saying that maybe he's found his role.
Ruin first round, second pick. He's the second pick of the draft. You ruined the confidence of him. He gets another shot.
I'm gonna tell you this: if your second pick in the draft isn't confident in his game, he shouldn't be the second pick in the draft. You think at any point?
Oh, that's cool.
Really? Really? You think that at any point a dominant player is not confident in his game? Carson Wentz just got benched
and said, "I don't want to."
And literally said, "Hey, if y'all don't want me, trade me." Like he been balling this season. That's confidence. That's confidence in your game. He playing horrible. What Mike say?
Whoa.
What Mike say?
There's a difference between someone being confident in their ability and somebody being delusional. Carson Wentz needs to let that go.
Carson Wentz was an MVP candidate. Carson Wentz was an MVP candidate before he went down. I like to see that confidence in you because that means that there's still something in you that somebody might be able to get out of you.
Who won that chip for him?
Nick Foles ended up winning it.
Okay, where's Nick Foles at?
Hey, listen.
I just want to
look.
I ain't seen Carson be good since he went down that season.
Why did Nick Foles win that? No, he came back the season after that and looked good. And then got hurt again. He came back the season after that and was on MVP pace and then got hurt again.
Fact check me because I didn't think he looked all that great.
I think season after that he went out with what, 20, 22, 23 touchdowns?
Oh, don't worry about it. I'm gonna get it.
Yeah, look up that season after the Super Bowl. But no, I just think that Mitch is what he has been what we're going to see in this game. He's been that guy that can put up 200, 250 yards, not a dominant guy. But if you put complementary things around him, you can be successful. Matt Nagy's stubbornness has taken away from that.
And
You know
that's
what
why
I'm saying?
that's why you move away from him, dog.
You definitely could,
That's why you move away from him.
listen. I would look at this game and I would look at Mitch and I would say, hey, what do you want to do? Can you work with Nagy? Can you make things work with Nagy? I'm going to Allen Robinson. I'm going to Khalil Mack. Can this team work with Matt Nagy? I'm asking my players because they're the ones that have to execute. And if they feel that, yeah, Matt got us going at the end. He never let us get too far out there. We didn't like some of the things that he did, but then we corrected those things. Listen, roll with them. If they sitting there and they look at you and they're like, man, Matt ain't it, bro. He a nice guy. He got some good game. He ain't it though, bro. Because those are the guys that got to execute under him.
Listen. What's crazy is that, again, the moment that Mitch is very vocal about his involvement and how these plays are being developed and called, the moment he gets very vocal, then that seemed to be when Nagy's tone changed.
Yes.
That's when Nagy's tone changed.
That's confidence. That's confidence. You need that. You need that to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. I'm sorry.
Is this like a Jedi mind trick? Is that what you're trying to say? Like, I don't.
No. I'm not saying that Nagy's the reason that happened. I'm not saying Nagy's the reason that happened. I'm just saying that before. Think about how we heard Mitch talk before. It was very, sometimes you got to give one for the Gipper, and we're going to get in here and turn some of those TVs off, and then we're going to think about something. It was basically Matt Nagy whispering in his ear, saying, "All right, this is what I want you to go out there and say. You say it just like this, and then we'll be able to get out of here, and everyone will be happy, and we're going to go to practice." Because you would hear Matt would be like, I got to get in there and look at the play and see what's going on with that. And then Mitch would come out right after. They'd ask about the same play. I got to get in there and look at the play, see what's going on with that. Be like, yo, we just got this interview. I didn't need the replay.
When you don't, I don't sit there and take someone handling the PR aspect of it the best way he can, especially as a young individual. He's still a very young guy. He's younger than both of us.
Very young.
So he's handling the PR in a way that, you know what? I'm not going to rock the boat. I'm going to just sit here. I'm trying to learn. But guess what? No, I can't blame Mitch for taking that. That doesn't mean he wasn't confident. To me, that doesn't mean he wasn't confident. That doesn't mean he's sitting there trying to make sure that he's like he's a young kid. I'm trying to come in, fit into this organization, make the right plays and do stuff like that. But guess what, dog? No, y'all can't sit there and say, oh, I'm going to give Nagy that same leeway to sit there and get it together and this, that, and the other. No. Because guess what? The players that we have on that team, they don't have that type of time frame. They don't. We're not going to have it.
And that's why I said you got to take them into account.
How long are we going to have Khalil Mack? How many years are we going to have them in their prime while you're sitting there trying to figure it out? No, we don't have that, right? We don't have that. We have a QB that gave us promise. I have a head coach that didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't give me any promise. He gave me one fantabulous season, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, okay. What's happening here? No, you don't get that learning curve. That's not what this is. So, no, I can't compare the two. I can't compare Mitch's learning curve to Nagy's because Nagy should have had this together. Nagy should have saw what was working, saw his deficiencies, delegated. He should have did those things. He don't get that. So now, because it's working, honestly, every win we get is just another indictment on him. Because now he has to sit there and eat his words and go with his play call and stuff like that. Yeah, we should have did this. We should have did that. But guess what? You should have figured that out when we was 5-1. Right. Maybe we wouldn't be in this situation where we have to hope some other team doesn't win so we get in or something like that. That's a bad situation to be in, especially when you don't put $100 million on Khalil Mack. You don't put or half a minute she sell. He sold for $100 million. How much you signed him for?
I forget what Mack deal was. It was large. It was more than $100 million, I think.
Was it?
But
I know that.
Yeah,
that man got paid.
Mack got big man paid.
And that's what I'm saying. Like we didn't make moves like that. Chicago didn't make moves like that. We didn't see our GMs
141
make moves like that.
141 for Khalil Mack.
That's I'm way under.
Yeah, that man got paid. But to me,
every time though.
but to me, I think you got to look at this Bears team.
That number was so high. That number was so
it
large.
Threw you off. It threw you off a little bit. No, I think you have to look at what this Bears team is doing and ask, can they continue it? That's where we get the answers to these questions. Because me and you can sit here and debate this. We could debate this with the people in the chat. I'm here with you.
Man,
I
you sound too naggy optimistic for my taste.
Listen.
Sorry.
You love playing devil's advocate.
My dag-on nerve with that. I swear you are.
You love playing devil's advocate. I'm playing devil's advocate right back with you,
man,
my boy.
That you picked the wrong person to play. Hey, find somebody else, though.
Hey, look, you on the show. No, I think it's all about if they can continue. If they can do this, if they find a way to backdoor their way into the playoffs, if they find a way to win playoff games, all right, let's sit down. Let's have a conversation about Matt Nagy. All of this only matters if you get into the playoffs and win.
No, that's not true. Like, we can lose, and the last couple games are still the biggest indictment on Nagy.
I don't think you would be able to. Unless you went into the Packers game and they played their players and you dominated them, I don't think you would be able to. Because and the Packers have already clinched, so I don't think they're gonna play their players. But I don't think any of these listen, even though we're playing the Vikings today, David Montgomery ran for a 146 yards on the 22nd ranked Vikings defense. On the 19th ranked rush defense. Mm-hmm. Like, yes, it was impressive to see. I'm glad we saw it. I'm glad that they did these things well, but you still have to put these things into perspective if you're really going to run this team the right way. This defense isn't good. Last week's defense, even worse. Week before that, the team that put up 30-something on you, even worse.
Hold on, wait. Now I gotta get you again. Because didn't we lose to bad teams too?
Absolutely.
So realistically, I'm not going to sit there and I can't sit there and allow you to do that part, like where you're sitting there like saying, well, it was a bad team that we beat. No, we lost to bad teams too, and we didn't have this going. We lost to bad teams, and we still look like a JV team because we didn't know what the heck we were doing. Like, everyone in the chat will say that. Right?
Yeah,
with Nagy play calling, right? And so at this point, no, we had some really horrible defenses giving us the flux because our O-line was trash and stuff like that. But again, and I go back to this because it's always the players who get vocal that shine the light on it. When Nick Foles was like, he's calling plays that I don't have time to execute.
Yeah.
So that moment he says that, what was that? That was on the second game we lost, right? It was the second or third game.
I think that was third game in a row on that one.
The moment he says that, it's like, no.
But this is the thing. That's more of a detriment to Matt Nagy. The fact that you lost those games is a detriment to the fact that your offense was putrid.
Everybody else is auditioning to keep their job. Matt Nagy's job is done.
Hey, listen, it's about how far they go. You telling me if they make a real run in these playoffs, you're going to fire that coach?
I would.
They won't.
I would.
I'm telling you they won't. This is the Chicago Bears.
Whether they will or not, that's different. But if you ask the question, you tell them, I would. I definitely would.
So if your coach figured it out, if your coach finally was able to get through to the team and y'all went on a winning streak,
look at what happened with Lovie Smith. Yeah, the record was 10-6, and everyone can sit there and say that. But you and I both look at that tape. That team was kind of bad. It was ran kind of bad. But guess what? Matt Nagy ain't even gonna be 10-6.
True. Well,
guess what?
What we got left? We got the Jaguars. It'll be 9-7. It'll be 9-7
because we got 2 extra games now, right?
Yeah, it'll be 9-7 if we win out. Which now, listen, and I'm not saying I don't agree that if you don't make the playoffs, you got to fire everybody. I don't care if you finish 9-7. I really do believe that. But you're coming in. If you make the playoffs, if you make a run in the playoffs, Matt Nagy is able to come in and say, we've never had a losing season under me. We've made the playoffs twice in 3 years under me. Because before that, the Bears had made the playoffs twice in 11 years.
That doesn't mean
I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Who took us the first time in 20 years, they still fired him, and he didn't have a losing record either.
Who?
I don't know. Lovie Smith did have a losing record. No, he didn't. Lovie Smith ain't no losing record.
Lovie didn't have a losing record, but I think the thing is, Lovie got to the
playoffs
further. Absolutely. That's why I said it's all about how far you can go. If you get into the first round and you get the doors blown off of you, you still got to go. If you get into the first round and you get through a game, all right, we're intrigued. We're thinking about you. You get to the second game, okay, hold on now.
Projected, if we did make the playoffs, who would they play for? Well, we wouldn't know that right now.
There's still some stuff switching up, but I believe it might be you might have a Bears Packers. No, because the Packers will have a week 1 bye in that one. Yeah. I don't know who that would be for that wild card game. I got to look at it. But this is my thing. These are the defenses you've played down this stretch. You lost to the Detroit Lions, 27th ranked defense. You beat the Houston Texans soundly, 24th ranked defense. You just beat the Minnesota Vikings, 22nd ranked defense. You're going in against the Jaguars, 26th ranked defense. And then we're finishing off with the Packers, 20th ranked defense. Those are your final defenses down the stretch. You're supposed to, other than that Packers game, which, listen, if I see Jordan Love in there and we taking an L in that, you definitely gone. And you finish 8-8, yeah, you definitely gone. But you're finishing against defenses that are, yeah, okay. They play football, but these are games you're supposed to win. It's more of a detriment in the beginning of the season that you were beating the New York Giants 15-17, or that you were having to come back to the Detroit Lions with all of their defensive pieces. Those are all detriments. Those are all feathers in Nagy's cap that it's like, all right, fire them. Even the games you won, you started off 5-0 and nobody believed in you. And so those are detriments. And these games at the end, yeah, they look good. But you're supposed to win these games. This is what you were supposed to be doing the whole time this season. This is what you were supposed to be doing the whole time this season. And so if you don't get in, if you don't get into the playoffs, you got to go. Pack up you pack up Pace, you pack up Phillips, you pack up Miss McCaskey. Everybody out of there.
What?
Get everybody out of there. I know she's not going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but everybody out of there. That's really how I feel on that. You got to show me something. Nagy want to save his job? Show me that you can go deep in these playoffs with this team. This defense that all of a sudden now they can't figure out how to play football no more, but they was built for this.
Man, it's the tale of two teams. I really can't. We leaned on our defense so much earlier this season, and we've leaned as a team. We've leaned on our defense. Chicago has leaned on our defense since I've been alive.
Hey, bro, I was gonna say for what, the past 100 years? Is that what you leaned on our
defense so long? So guess what? All I'm saying is this: at this particular point, they have to be tired. They have to be tired
for sure.
All the pressure has been on them.
For sure.
And so now, listen, I get that they have to stop. We have to get stops and stuff like that. And it's coming together. I know we had some injuries and we had some people coming back and stuff like that. So listen, that's working itself out. But what wasn't working itself out is all on Nagy. I don't see that we need to do a top-down firing. I really don't, because we have too much onus on one person who effed up stuff up so much.
Yeah.
That it's like, okay, no, that'd be way too much turnover. Who do we get to replace all those positions? Well, you don't know. That's the whole different culture you bring in. Let's just replace one thing and let's just flip out one thing and just go slowly but surely build it out. You can't.
But that's how the Bears have done it. You got to change how you do it, bro. That's how the Bears have done it for the last 35 years since the championship team. Oh man, we are losing again. Let's fire the head coach and bring in a new head coach. Oh man, we are losing again.
That you were losing with Matt Nagy. Yes, you fired the head coach. But that's not a Bears organization thing. That's just good business. Like,
no, but you fired a head coach, right? You fired a head coach, but you look back at Jerry Angelo. It took Jerry Angelo what? 3 coaches to get it right? 2 coaches to get it right? Actually, it might be 3. Let me check on that. I think 3 coaches to get it right. So you let him hire this guy, fire this guy, hire this guy, fire this guy, hire this guy. He had a nice little run with Lovey.
Quick to fire.
He had a nice little run with Lovey, and then he fired him. And then Phil Emery came in. And then Phil Emery came in, and Phil Emery ended up firing him. And then you let Phil Emery come in, hire head coach, fire head coach. Hire head coach, fire head coach. Like, that's how they've always done it. And let me tell you something. I've been watching this team. It don't work. You got to change how you do all the way up. You got to change how you do all the way up the ladder. What did the Bulls do? Bulls didn't stop at the coach. Bulls did that project. They did that project their whole time since Phil. We fired the head coach, bring somebody else in. We fired the head coach, bring somebody else in. It's going to change the culture, bring somebody else in. Then they start looking, oh, man, people, we're still losing. Hey, y'all, we ain't won a championship since 98. Y'all realize that was 20 years ago? Y'all realize that was 30 years ago? Like, you got to change the way your team does business. Chicago, for some reason, love to run these mom and pop organizations. I don't know why. Like, we not a major market. Like, we don't got major money. So you got to change everything this Bears team does. But at the end of the day, it's all predicated on what this Bears team is going to do. Because we might not see nothing change other than if Ted Phillips retired.
Again, dog, I'm gonna have to press you a little bit. Are we firing Nagy or not?
Are we firing Nagy or not? It's gonna be. It's exactly what I just said.
Season was over right now. We firing Nagy or not?
Season's over with right now.
Right now,
they don't make the playoffs.
Let's say we do make the playoffs and we lose first game. We firing him Nagy.
You lose first game, he's gone.
Let's say we win. You firing him or not? Mind you, we're winning because someone else is doing the play calling. Someone else is doing all tangibles to get this team to where they are. Not your head coach. We win, right?
If he wins the first game, lose the second game.
Yeah, we're not going to the Super Bowl. Come on now, let's go. We're not.
Hey, listen. I've seen teams catch heaters. I've seen NFL teams catch heaters and go a long way. I'm not saying that the Bears are. I'm saying that's a big if. I'm not saying that the Bears are going to the Super Bowl, but I've seen teams catch heaters just by getting in the playoffs.
Listen, as a fan, I want us to catch a heater. Trust me.
Me too.
Right? But here's the thing.
But in your scenario, they lose the second game.
Mind you, again, I don't even care. I'll give you a better one. We win the second game. They win the second game.
They win the second game.
We win the second game again. Because
they win the second game, he's back.
He's back. That's what you said.
They win the second game, he's back. Because if you win the second game, that means that you probably beat out the Green Bay Packers. And the McCaskies put that in very, very, very high regard. You can lose you know why Lovie Smith kept his job for so long? Because he would beat the Packers every now and then. It wasn't a great record throughout then, but he would beat the Packers. Everybody else, all them other coaches, they would get the doors blown out. You come in, Brett Favre is like, fam, did you really let Brett Favre throw up 7 touchdowns today? I counted them. I had to recount them because I didn't believe it.
Jay Critton alive was good.
Jay Critton alive was good, my boy. If the Bears get to the second round and they win a game, he's back. Because you're probably beating out the Packers.
Yeah, I can't sit there and say that he shouldn't come back if we win a second one. No. I'm not saying that he should, but I'm just saying like they probably don't change anything
right
at that point. So I can see that happening. Yeah, I can't say.
Now, listen. Like I said,
that hole right there. But listen, I don't think we're gonna get that far. So at this point,
and right. Listen, you might not get out of the wild card round. And if you don't get out of the wild card round, he's gone. If you don't get to the playoffs, if the Cardinals win out, he's gone.
Yeah, I think he's gone. I think he's gone regardless.
And I think that
I want him to be gone regardless.
I think that everybody is gone with him. I really do. I think that George is gonna come through and be like, all right, y'all made the playoffs, y'all beat some horrible teams down the stretch, but good job on getting it together. Make sure you leave your notes on what you did at the end of the season on your desk, so that the next guys can get it together. I got Louis Riddick on the phone right now.
Let's talk the next couple of games, though.
These next couple games, I mean, you got the Jaguars next, bro. If the Jaguars, if you lose to the Jaguars, he's absolutely gone. If you want Nagy gone, you should be wearing a Jaguars jersey next week. If you want Matt Nagy gone, you should be wearing a Jaguars jersey next week. Legitimately. Because that is a horrible football team. Yeah. Competitive, but horrible. They one of those teams where, like, if you just tune in like to the highlights, you'll be like, "Hey, yo, the Jags giving them that go," but then you end up watching the whole game. And it's like, did this man just fumble a fumble? Like, what just happened right there? Yeah, if
two teams in the NFL that I was just like, I have no idea how this is happening. Jaguars and the Texans.
Bam.
Texans, you saw that loss that they had today? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. Yeah.
Fire everyone.
hey, look. The Texans already did. Yeah. And I'll tell you this to everybody who's ready to fire Nagy, to everybody who's ready to fire all these people, the Texans is a better looking job than the Bears is.
I'm willing to fire Nagy for sure.
Hey, listen, I'm just saying the Texans is a better job than the Bears is.
What do you mean?
The quarterback's proven. That's the hardest piece to find right there.
Yeah, but they gave away his targets.
They gave away so much. Absolutely. Gave away his best target. The dumbest thing I've ever seen in the world. Gave away his targets to protect him better. And this man's still one of the highest sack leaders in the league. Oh, we got to protect him. I have to pay Laramie Tunsil. Well, you didn't fix the other side that keeps getting them killed.
Yeah.
You didn't fix that side of the ball. But I think that's a team you look at and you say, I know I got the quarterback. He's paid. He's locked in. Let's figure out how to fix the rest of this. And as a head coach, I'd say if I got the quarterback fixed, I'm absolutely going to go there and see what I can do.
Jay Critt, I appreciate your input. I like that question right there. I'll tell you what.
Ask it in the chat or ask it on the so they can hear it on the pod.
Right. Question is, isn't this just a repeat of last year before where we've played trash for the okie doke? Everyone was yelling about how Mitch turned the corner. And you're right. We did have that going on. I will say this. This looks like a different turning of the corner for Mitch. Right?
Just because it's consistent.
This don't look like one of those. It looked like a smooth drive going down that thing. He looked real composed and stuff like that. So to me, because he's done it consistently, we put up great points. He has big inconsistencies the last couple of games, except for this last INT. I think, hey, listen, buddy, I think when it comes to Mitch, I think this is really him stepping into it because it really only takes one game. I think he had that game a few games ago, So I think that was great, and it's good to see him having some confidence. You could tell how his confidence is back just by how he's talking to the media, how he's handling certain things. He just seems a little more assertive in everything he's doing, and I like it. I love to see it.
I'm waiting for him to drop a Michael Jordan ho. I'm waiting for that up in the Last Dance. You remember that? You remember that?
Hey, you threw me for a loop.
I'm waiting for him to drop a Michael Jordan ho where he up in that mug and just like, hey, Allen Robinson, catch that ball, ho. Wait, what? Wait, hold on, Mitch. Hold on. Need you to take it back a notch, my boy. I think the biggest thing with this is we cannot, and Jay Critt is right. We cannot forget what we saw. And if we see Mitch come out these last couple games and we don't see what we saw here, that's the biggest difference. You know what I'm saying? We can't forget the what was it, 44 games before he was benched? We can't forget that.
I can't. I go toe to toe with anyone who brings up those games, not because I'm like a big Mitch fan, but again, I am big on did you play to that person's strength? So here's the difference. Like my sport is basketball. You know that to be true, right?
Yeah.
So we all have seen in that sport what happens when a coach has a system that doesn't fit their players.
Yeah.
Right. Or when the game is changing, the player just doesn't evolve with the time. You can see how out of place they look. Right. That's kind of what Nagy did to Mitch. So when we talk about those games, how many of those games are we going to sit there and acknowledge the fact that, yeah, he really tried to shut him down and fit that thing? Like, how many times are we going to do that?
If
you're not going to do that, then you can't sit there and say, oh, we have 44 games. No, because at the same time, Nagy also had them same amount of games to show me that he can actually develop a QB, and he did.
Right.
He had them same amount of games to show me that he can actually call effective plays. I didn't see it. So at the same time, it was just like, listen, no, it's still more of an indictment on every time that we've had things go in Mitch's favor, he's performed well.
Right.
You can't turn away from that. You can't turn away from that. You can't keep going back and forth about that. Like that's a done deal. Like Nagy didn't do it. That's why we were in the hole. That's the bottom line. Like it really is.
I can never say that, because at the end of the day, players got to perform. Yes, you got to put people in the right position to be good. But in those games that we would see a game here, a game there, Mitch looked horrible. Like, it's not like it was like, I see something there, but it's not right. Mitch looked horrible. We saw games where Mitch was protected and Mitch had wide open passes and he should have been able to hit his receiver in the hands, and he didn't. He looked horrible. But since he's come back, you know what the best thing about Mitch has been? In this game here, what did we get?
I see you, Jay Creeper. Sal just brought up a great point.
15 for 21. 15 for 21. Put up Sal's comment. 15 for 21 for Mitch. What's that
again? Say the last part again.
15 for 21 completion percentage for Mitch, or completions to attempts for Mitch. That's the difference. When Allen Robinson is running downfield and he's wide open, Mitch Trubisky's hitting them dead in the numbers. I'll tell you my favorite pass today, it wasn't even a completion. It was great coverage by the Vikings.
Yeah.
He was trying to get the ball to Javon Wims. I believe it was in the first half. He knew if he puts this ball dead on him, he's going to be picked off. Or my receiver's going to get killed, which Nick Foles did a lot. Put his receivers in a lot of positions to get killed. Bro, I got real beef with Foles on that. You know what I'm saying? But, bro,
that's a whole different story.
I just watched like, oh my God, please, not why. But he knows if he puts this ball on him, Wims is getting lit up. If I put this ball too far to the right, it's a pick. If I put this ball too high, he's probably not going to catch it. It could be a tip ball. It's a pick. I'm going to throw this ball into the window between them where there's enough space, but Wims is going to have to dive left for it. Tough catch for Wims. He wasn't able to make the catch. The ball hit him dead in the hands. Mm-hmm. That was one of my favorite throws today because it showed me that Mitch surveyed everything.
He dove for it. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. It showed me that Mitch showed me he surveyed everything. He saw what the defense was doing, and he found the one spot that, listen, either he's going to catch it or nobody's going to catch it. Those are the passes I need to see from Mitchell Trubisky. And we saw a lot of those today. The only bad pass I really saw today from Mitch was the pick, because it was just like, bro, I don't even know who that tight end you throwing it to is, and there's nobody over there.
You know what I'm saying?
It was like A-Rob was falling, he was jumping, but not really. It was like you basically threw it straight to the Vikings. But other than that, the entire game, the accuracy, the fact that he was hitting them on the numbers, he was hitting them on the hands, he was hitting them in stride. He hit Darnell Mooney on the pass, which Mooney shook the mess out of somebody on.
Yo, Mooney looking good out there.
Hasn't dropped the pass yet.
Mooney looking real good out there.
Has not dropped the pass yet. That boy's a problem. Hey, look. If you want to keep Ryan Pace, feather in his cap. 5th round pick. Feather in his cap. Keep him around for Darnell Mooney. Right? You said what?
He a rookie, right?
Yeah, he a rookie this year.
Yo, we had some side note. We had some decent rookies come out of this. Because on the other end, what's that boy name? Was it
Justin Jefferson?
Hey, looking good.
Problem.
We had some good receivers come out of that joint.
Problem.
Coming out ready to play.
Chase Claypool.
Oh.
Problem.
Yeah, I forgot.
It's some problems in this league.
Man, I'm getting old. I forgot that.
It's some problems in this league, my boy.
Man, listen.
But
stuff.
The difference in this is Montgomery, they play complementary football offensively.
Yeah.
Montgomery's 146 yards. Probably don't turn into 146 yards. Career high for David Montgomery, by the way. Congrats to you, Breeze Baller of the Week. It probably doesn't turn into 146 yards if Mitch can't complete passes.
Mm-hmm.
Mitch's completed passes probably don't turn into completed passes if David Montgomery isn't running for 146 yards.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You got to play that complementary football, which credit to Bill Lazor. Give credit where credit is due. I'm not crediting Nagy for that. Listen, you were in the room when stuff was happening, but I don't know if I can credit you for that.
Credit for who? Credit to who?
You know, credit Bill Lazor on that. The game plan.
Okay. Say it one more time.
Let me tell you this: 30 rushes for David Montgomery. Man. That's how you commit to the run.
Yeah.
That's how you commit to the run. What we saw the week before versus Houston, yeah, we was up, we was winning, whatever. Start running the ball. 17 runs between him and Cordell Patterson. It's sad to say, but I think the best thing that happened today was that Cordell Patterson tweaked his ankle, and you couldn't have him back there as a second running back.
Mm-hmm.
Keep giving the ball to David. Hey, David, we're going to have to go to you on this one. I've been asking for this all season.
And he showed up, too.
And he showed up.
That's another thing with the right situation. Well, not the right situation, because that O-line.
32 rushes, my fault.
That O-line was a little needed some help because he was getting some carries and he wasn't getting much help on that one.
Oh, so, for sure.
Yeah, so we gotta give a slow clap to the O-line for go ahead and step
give it up. Look.
Gotta. Yeah. We gotta
build it up. You gotta build it up like it's the end of Cool Runnings and they lose. Zinka, you're dead man.
Hey man, listen. All I'm saying, all I know is we having some great football. It's good to be a Bears fan. We're on a nice little run. Hopefully, we keep it going. Whoever's there, you just want to see good football, and it looks like we're in the corner on that. So that's what's up, man. We got the Jaguars coming up next week.
1-13, bro. If we lose that game, fire everybody, bro. Hey, listen, fire Virginia, fire George, fire the Bears logo, fire Stanley. But if you lose to the Jaguars next week, don't come back to Chicago. We'll go find the Chicago Cardinals from 1954.
Yo, I tell you one thing, though. It would be just our fortune that the Jaguars, for some odd reason, boss up and have the game of the season, the game of their freaking season, just to sit there out of the hunt. Like, I would love.
Listen. No, they won't. You know why? Because they still in that Trevor Lawrence race. They'll start winning, and Shad Khan will be up in the stands and snipe somebody on his own team. Hold on. Wait, hold up. All right. Enough of that. That's enough of that. 1-13, bro. Yeah. They trying to get Trevor down there.
Yeah, they need to. I always wonder what happens if they don't. Like, what happens if you go through all this horrible losing and you don't?
Get 2. You get 2 and you hope for the best.
Hey, Jay, quick, I had to let the hat and the vest go. It was too hot, baby. Too hot. Petty Casanova couldn't do it today. But trust me,
listen.
I'll be back.
Petty Casanova only arrives when there's nothing but 100% Nagy slander on the line.
Facts.
Hey, man, we appreciate y'all for joining the show today. You got to win. You got to win next week. I got the Bears winning next week. 3 wins in a row. We'll see how that turns out. And then it's off to the Packers, which I think we're going to see Jordan Love in that one. But let us know in the comments below. I think we're going to see Jordan Love. I don't think the Bears – I don't think the Packers run Aaron Rodgers out there at all, especially with Khalil Mack trying to get to Aaron Rodgers. Can you imagine right before the playoffs, Khalil Mack taking out Aaron Rodgers?
True.
You know what I'm saying? I would not. I wouldn't send Jordan Love out there.
Yo. I gotta give a shout out to Corey. Is it true? I gotta look that up. Mooney broke the record
for most receptions by a rookie. Yep.
Shout out.
Yep. You know why? Hey, look. You know why?
Too much talent on
Because we don't throw the ball. We didn't throw the ball before this. Hey, look. We don't throw the ball before this.
We
got one more question. Damien, here we go. Question: if we do lose next week, God forbid. Okay, a little high, Damien, a little lofty. Jesus. But if we do, what do we need to happen to keep our chances alive? If we lose next week, it's over.
It's over.
If we lose next week, I think the Cardinals would have to lose out as well. Yeah, but I don't even think you could make it in that scenario unless you won the Packers game and they lost both of their games. I think that's the only scenario you get in.
The Packers already clinching. They may not.
I'm just saying. I think that's the only scenario that you get. You get the Bears in if they lose. You know what I'm saying?
BS. What if we lose to Jordan Love?
Hey, look.
Hey. I'm going to throw the mic. I'm literally going to
throw
the mic.
Hey, look. How Bears? Hey, look. You got to throw one and then just bring another one up. Yeah, I'm sick of this.
I'm telling you.
All right.
Them. All right, let's go. Let's go be for Monday, man. Let's go on the next live. Let's go be on the next live.
We're gonna get up out of here, man. It is your boy Pat the Designer, joined by P.Kidd. We are both back at it again. Hey, to continue watching our Chicago Bears content, make sure you like, subscribe, and check out all the Bears playlists and stuff like that on the page. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago.
Peace.
Peace.